Hello, Physio practice owners. If you want to know how to double and triple and even more your money in Google Ads, this is the episode for you. Hello, and welcome to today's episode. It is called How to Double and Triple Your Money Using Google Ads, and even more than triple. All right. Now, the reason why I'm covering this and doing an episode on this is one of the first things that we get told when we start working with a practice owner is they say, look, we've tried Google Ads before. It just doesn't work for our area, right? Not for our patients. Other agencies have tried it. It doesn't work, right? Let me tell you, if you do it the right way and if you're consistent, and there's enough effort and input on your part and you're consistent with it, it's going to generate results. Because that is exactly what we see with the practices that we work with. Okay? So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is an exact framework that you can literally plug into your practice that will help you double, triple, and even more your money when it comes to Google Ads. So it's a very, very important thing. But what I will do is I'll give you some real examples first of some of the practices that we are working with and the results they are actually getting, right? These are actual real results for you to actually see, okay, this is what's actually possible. The first one, if you're watching us on video, you'll see this is just in the last few weeks since the year has started. So this particular practice in Perth, they spend $487 in Google Ads, and they got out of it $1,386. All right. That is at a rate of 2.84, meaning every dollar that you put in, you're getting $2.84 back, almost tripling your money, right, on Google Ads in a very short amount of time. So this is the kind of thing that's really possible. And, getting $2.84, that's a pretty basic standard that you can do with Google Ads. Here's another example. This particular practice in Victoria, over the last couple of weeks, they spent $1,244.98, and they got out $5,709. All right, that's a return rate of 4.59, meaning that every dollar they put in, they're getting $4.59 back. Think about that, right? Every dollar you're putting into Google Ads, you're getting $4.59 back. And if you're watching us on video, you can see these are actually all these figures are from Google Ads direct. These are not made up. These are directly from Google Ads. So what I'm trying to say is if you do things properly, this stuff really, really works. Think about the effect, right, for you and your practice as a whole and where you want to go in the next 12, 24, 5 years, 10 years time. If you can have a system where you put a dollar in, you get $2.84 back, or you get $4.59 back for every dollar you put in. It's working really hard, right? It is very, very possible. So let me share with you what the exact framework for this is. So you can literally take this away, go into your practice, and make it work for you, right? By the way, if you're asking how we came up with what you made out of Google Ads, I will share with you a bit later on exactly what that is as well. So stick around for that. So before we go, I want to explain to you what we call the total patient matrix, right? So what the total patient matrix is a representation of all the people that can potentially be a patient for your practice and where they are in terms of the buying cycle, all right? So where they are in terms of becoming an actual patient to your practice. That's what it's all about, okay? So let's just say you're a practice and typically you have, a certain radius around you that people come from, right? The total patient matrix represents all that people within that radius and where exactly they fit into when it comes to becoming your patient, right? Let me explain this to you. Once again, if you're watching us on video, you can see a pyramid. I'll go from the top and explain all the way down to the bottom. There's 5 main sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and explain them to you exactly where they are psychologically when it comes to becoming a patient in your practice. The 3%, the top 3% is what we call they're in a buying now mode. So they are actively looking for physiotherapy services or whatever services that you are offering. All right. So if you had 100 people in your area, all right, 3% of them, so 3 people, will be actively looking for physio or whatever service you want to offer. 3% of them. They will typically be typing in, physio near me, physio your suburb, physio back pain, all that kind of thing. They literally want a solution right now. That's 3%. Typically, when it comes to Google Ads, they tend to be the most expensive because they're on the brink of becoming a patient at a practice. So they're typically, what we call the cost per click will be higher because their value is a lot higher because they're ready to take that next step in becoming a patient. All right, so it's very important to understand that. Underneath that, you have 6 to 7, underneath 3% buying now, you have 6 to 7% open to it, meaning that they're not typing in physio near me into Google, right? They're typing in things like how to treat lower back pain. Why am I getting lower back pain, right? They're doing research, in other words. They are looking for information. They're doing some research to see what is going on, but they know there is a problem. They've got lower back pain or whatever pain's going on, right? But they're typing things into Google to find out more about it, and they're open to a solution. That's about 6 to 7% of the people. But if you add up the top 2 up, the people who are actually the biggest value, there's about 10%, 9 to 10% of the market are either looking for you straight away or they are typing in research queries into Google. And the 30% underneath that are not thinking about it, but they have a problem. They have lower back pain, but it hasn't got to the point where they really need to think about it. They just sort of dismiss it. They just put it aside. They don't really think about it. All right. But they have an issue. So for these people, Google Ads, there's a way to target them because they won't be typically typing into Google. All right. But there is a way to have a look at them and get in front of them. I'll share with you a bit later on as well. But the ones that you're really, really looking to get are the top 10% who are really ready to come over. Okay. And underneath the 30% I'm not thinking about it, you have 30% who don't think they are interested. Okay. That means for them as a patient, you as a physio know that from their lifestyle or whatever they're doing, you could be of service to them at some capacity. You know that, but they don't know that, right? They're not thinking about it, right? Could be, for example, if they're sitting at a desk, right, and it's not set up ergonomically, right? They're probably going to have some headaches, neck pain, all that kind of thing. You know that, but they don't know that. And because of that, they don't think they're interested, but eventually there are things that you can help them with, okay? And the 30% underneath that, they're just the ones you need to forget about, all right? The last 30%, they know they're not interested. They're not the people that you want to go for. Forget about them. So you only have about 70% of people that you can really have a look at, all right? So just keep that in mind, the total patient matrix, as you are doing marketing to really grow your practice. And it is important to have the right messaging for each level of that matrix, all right? You can't have, get to physio right now. If they think they're not interested, they'll probably laugh at you, right? Or they're just going to scoff you. They're not going to really take you seriously, right? In other words, be very specific. Also, if you have somebody they want a solution right now, you don't want to put up ads that are wishy-washy and not really addressing their pain points, right? You need to make it really, really sharp, right? So keep this total patient matrix in mind whenever you're thinking about how to get new patients. Very important, right? So for Google Ads, it's the top part, the top part of the pyramid. That's really important, especially the buying now and people that are open to it. The 10% of the market, they are the ones that are closest to becoming a patient. It's an important one. What we see is typically practices when they say they've run Google ads, it hasn't worked, it doesn't work for us, their website is terrible or is not up to par, right? You think about it. So way Google works is they want to make sure they put up results that give the users a really great experience. That's if they don't, their reputation gets hit. And as a result of that, there's a cost to that. I'll show you what that is a bit later on. That's one big thing that practice owners don't tend to think about, the effect that Google has on a poor website, right? Now, what I mean by this, one of the first things is what you see in front of you here is a page speed insight. Go to page speed insight, put your website in, see what you get in terms of scores, right? You want to get 2 benchmarks. For desktop, you want to get a minimum of 90% performance, right? You'll see this big green circle here. It says performance 95 in this case. You want to get a minimum of 90. And for mobile, you want to get a minimum of 60. If you don't have that, straight away, you're at a huge disadvantage of getting patients over. Firstly, Google will penalize you, right? Because it's not a great experience, right? And patients will get frustrated. They will bounce off. They wouldn't want to stay there because the actual experience for them isn't sharp. They're there to look for a solution to see if your practice can really help them. If you're not doing that, the website and how you present the information is a big part of it. If you're not doing that, the likelihood of them remaining on the website and engaging and seeing what things they can do next to eventually become a patient of yours, they're going to leave, right? So it's very important. And one other side note is make sure that you put a lot of effort and work on the mobile speed, right? Because what we find is about 70% plus new patients come from mobile, right? They're always on their mobiles. That's how they get to the website, and that's how they call, book, etc. They can call from the website. They can book an appointment from the website. So make sure you spend your effort on getting your website bang on for mobile in terms of the speed and performance. It's a big thing. All right. The next thing is another common mistakes that practice owners make is they think the cost per click. So every time somebody clicks, the cost is the biggest factor. They really feel like it's getting more and more expensive, and they just feel like they have to spend more money to keep up with the rising costs. Now, that is true to an extent, but what we find is cost per click is one thing, right? But the most important part when it comes to Google Ads is making sure that your quality score is high. Google gives each ad a quality score, right? It's scored out of 10. You want to make sure that your score is, for each ad, is as close to 10 as possible. If it's less than 7, you'll really start to run into some inefficiencies, and you will start to spend a lot more money on the ads than you should. All right. Now, just hang with me for a little second. I'll show you exactly how to improve that quality score a bit later on. But what I want to sort of let you know is this concept called ad rank. Right now, ad rank is something that Google uses to rank your ads. Right? They have an internal system to do that, and it's literally called ad rank. The higher the score of the ad rank, the higher the ad will come up in whatever searches that ad is for. All right. For example, let's just say if you have a Physio near me ad and you are targeting that keyword with a particular ad, and Google has a look at all the people that are bidding for that keyword, and they use ad rank to determine which order they come in. Right. Obviously, you want to be number 1, right? But it's easier than you think, right? Just to get your ad rank high. Now, the formula for ad rank, all right? Ad rank equals to your bid, so your cost per click, multiplied by your quality score. Okay, so let me say that again. Your ad rank equals to your bid, right? So what you want your highest cost per click to be, right? Multiplied by your quality score, right? That gives you ad rank. The higher that number is, the higher you will rank, right? And obviously the more patients you'll get over, depending on how you write the ad and things like that. We'll cover that a bit later on. So what I want to show you is an example where if you get your ad rank, if you get your quality score pretty high, right, you can actually rank higher than somebody who is bidding a lot more than you, right? But their quality score isn't quite high. Let me give you an example. All right. So I've got a table here, right? So this advertiser A, their bid or their CPC is 50, right? And their quality score is 9. So 50 times 9 is 450. Their ad rank is 450, right? But advertiser B is they are bidding $75, so 50% more than what you're bidding, but their quality score is only 5, right? So their ad rank is 375, but yours is 450, right? Your ad rank is 450, but your maximum bid is 50, right? And your ad rank's higher than the person who's bidding 50% more than you because the quality score is much, much higher on your ad, okay? So the key to understanding this is one of the key ways to double and triple and more than that, your money is getting this right. Really understanding the first focus is not the cost per click or the bid, it's the quality score of the ad. That is a big, big thing. So how do you make sure you get a quality score really high? Well, let me get into it. So Google has 3 main categories it uses to get overall score for the quality score. The 3 are click-through rate. So the click-through rate is basically how many people click on the ads compared to how many times that ad was shown or impressioned, right? An impression is when an ad shows up. Obviously, click is when somebody clicks on it. So if an ad shows up 10 times and it was clicked 3 times, the click-through rate is 3 divided by the number of clicks divided by the number of impressions, 10, and it becomes 30%. So click-through rate is 30%, right? This is the biggest weighted part of the 3 components to the quality score, the click-through rate, right? So you want to get this one right. So we'll go into a bit later on how to really make sure that you get a really high click-through rate, okay? This is the big part of getting a quality score up. About 60% roughly of the quality score will be made up of the click-through rate, a big part of it, big part of it, okay? The next one is what we call ad relevance. So what that means is if somebody types in knee pain into Google, right, you want to have ads that are related to knee pain. There's a lot of practices out there that just use very generic ads and not really addressing what the user has said in their query, right? So creating very specific ads for people that search is absolutely necessary. It's needed, right? Because it's a quality score component, all right? So if you have something like Physio for knee pain, you want to make sure that in your ad you address that, okay? The third part is the landing page experience, all right? So when somebody sees an ad, they click on it and they go over to your landing page. Or if somebody type in knee pain physio, is the page they're going to about knee pain physio? In other words, it needs to be relevant to their original search query. Whatever they put up on Google, it needs to be relevant for that, right? Otherwise, you're going to lose them. If you take them to a shoulder pain, they're going to go, this is not right. They're going to get frustrated. Psychologically, you're going to frustrate them. They have to hunt for the solution. The more effort you want them to make, the less of a chance you're going to have of actually them becoming a patient of yours, right? That's a very, very big thing, right? So landing page experience, it's a big thing. So let's talk about how to improve each one of these things to improve your quality score, all right? How do we improve the click-through rate? This is where your ad copy or the text on the ad becomes very, very important, all right, on Google. Whatever you put on the ad becomes very important, all right? That's one thing. And you can do banner ads and retargeting ads. I'll talk about them a bit later on. But for those visual ads, it's all about how and what you put into those ads that has a weight on the click-through rate. How enticing is it? All right, so click-through rate, it's all about the ad copy, right, and the writing on the ads. That's how you improve it. And obviously in the banner ads and Google display network ads, it's all about making sure the right visuals are there for them to compel to actually click. Okay? So here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. So when it comes to your Google ads, a lot of practices get this wrong by not really thinking about what the actual purpose of a Google ad is. It's not to get a new patient. As strange as that sounds, not to get a new patient. Google ads' sole and only role is to get the click. That's its job. Whether it be the banner ad or the Google ad on the results page or in the map, its only job is to get the click. You need to entice people to get the click. And what you need to have in your ad copy and in your graphics, the number one emotion that will drive the click-through rate is curiosity and intrigue, right? So you want to make sure it's not a boring vanilla ad that is just flat and doesn't really excite them or doesn't really go, what's that about? You want to create ads that are very, very curious. It is an absolute must. If you don't do that, your click-through rate will likely go down. You do this the right way, people are going to get curious, especially if it's aligned with what they're truly looking for. They're going to click through, right? Your click-through rate will go high. So when you're creating anything, ad copy, make it curiosity-based. Don't make it clickbait though, right? Because people get frustrated about that. But make it all about you've given them something that they want to know more about. You made them really curious. I can't stress that enough. It's all about curiosity. One of the key ways to create curiosity is having irresistible offers in your Google ad. Have an offer that is so good they're really curious to find out more about it, right? You can use these copy about your offer, right? Whatever you want to offer to the new patient to draw them in, right? To put in the ad to get them to click through. Now, just a side note, I'm not going to cover how to create irresistible offers in this conversation, but we've created lots of podcasts in how to do it. If you want to, go to our list and say how to create irresistible offers and that kind of thing. I would encourage you to watch that as well to really create offers for you. Right? But this particular episode is all about finding out, in this instance, what can you do to really ramp up the amount of clicks. So that's one very good way to do that. All right? Putting irresistible offers. Right? So let me give you a few examples of some good ads, some great ads, create that curiosity and intrigue to get people over to your practice, right? The first type of ad is what we call a problem solution ad, right? So the headline could be, let's just say they type in physio back pain or back pain, or something related to back pain. Right? So the headline could be struggling with back pain. When you have this ad for someone who's searching back pain, they know immediately they're in the right place, right? So it's relevant. So the words are used in the ad, struggling with back pain, and in the description part, underneath that first big line in the ad, here's a description you can put in. Fast relief without guarantee, book your appointment today. Let me read that again. Fast relief with our guarantee, book your appointment today. Right? Now you think about it. If you are looking for a service, just putting yourself as a patient, and it's a brand new patient, never known about your practice before, and you type in back pain near me, and this ad comes up, struggling with back pain, fast relief without guarantee, book your appointment today. All right? What emotions would you go through? You probably go, there's a guarantee for back pain. What's that about? All right? It'll raise the curiosity. So with anything you write, remember, you've got to have curiosity-based ads. Right? So this is one way of doing a problem solution ad. The next one is benefit-focused ad. Right? And the benefit is end your back pain today. Right? Start your pain-free journey backed by our guarantee. When somebody reads that, you think about it, put yourself in a brand new person's place, or even yourself, if you pretend that you're trying to go to another physio practice and you have back pain, right? And you see this ad, gonna be curious. Backed by our guarantee, right? So, I mean, this is one way of writing it, right? But the key thing is when you read it, when you write it, gotta have a curiosity base. Very important. All right. So the next thing is nailing the landing pages. Remember, so you have click-through rate, which we talked about, right? Nailing the landing pages, right? Actually, going back, we talked about the click-through rate and the ad relevance, right? Keeping the words that the person put into Google, make sure that's in the ad as well, the ad relevant. The last thing is nailing the landing pages, right? So this is where you need to make sure, because you don't know what page this person will come into, right? In your website, you need to make sure that you put your best foot forward. And this is where you create a page for every single, I guess, problem or pain area, if you want to call it that, in your website. For example, if somebody types in back pain and it's very popular in your area, right? You need to make sure that obviously your Google ads are aligned with that. But whenever somebody clicks on that ad, you want to drive them to a back pain landing page, right? A page to do with how you as a practice deal with back pain to get them to where they want to get to, right? So it becomes really, really relevant for them. So that's landing page relevance. Now, because, like I said before, because you don't know, once again, they may not necessarily go to your home page. They may only come to this landing page, which is their back pain one. That's the only one they will go to. So you need to make sure that you put your best foot forward by giving this person everything that they need psychologically for them to feel comfortable, for them to take that next step, maybe call you or call your practice or book an appointment. And how you do that is you need to create a home page feel on all these pages you're driving traffic to. Now, what I mean by that is the typical homepage, you have a big image at the top with the practice, maybe the staff there, the equipment, the actual practice itself, basically giving a sense of, letting them feel comfortable. This is a great bunch of people. They seem friendly and approachable. I'm pretty happy with that, right? And underneath that, you want to have authority symbols. You want to have Google reviews. Once again, there's a whole few podcast episodes and webinars and things like that we talk about how to create great website. I encourage you to go watch that if you're not exactly sure. But it's all about getting the homepage feel on every landing page, because you want to tick their psychological things that they want to go through. For example, they want to feel comfortable because physios are very hands-on. You want to make sure you get them to feel comfortable very quickly. Otherwise, if they get a weird feeling, obviously they're not going to be too comfortable. They're not going to be as encouraged to keep going to the website. All right. That's very, very important. So you need to create a homepage feel on every landing page. And once you created all of this, right, you created the ad copy for it, you created the ads for it, you have created a landing page for it, then you can't put it out there and forget. It's not going to work. It'll work for a while. It will eventually start to lose its effect, right? Because things are changing all the time. And what you need to do is you need to make sure that you remain current at all times. And the only way to do that is A/B test every major component. So for example, when you put up a Google ad, you want to have another Google ads that you are running it with to find out which is the ad that's getting the most click-through rate, right? Remember, Google ad keys to get the high click-through rate. So you have two ads. And what we recommend is you need to do that. You need to run two ads and change that, well, every single month. So you change it and find out, but when you change it, you can't change a lot of things. You just need to change one thing. All right. If you change more than one thing, you just don't know exactly what is working. So that way, if you found something that doesn't work, you can document that. Don't put this in there. Keep this in there instead. You can create, you're basically refining ads over time for them to work, because it's always going to change. What people type in, what people want to hear, always going to change. And you want to make sure that you adapt to the change. All right. So this works with the actual ad copy. This works with the landing page, maybe using different words, using a different headline, different image, you've got to find out which one, all right, which page is better. So all the components within the Google ad experience. So, when it comes to click-through rate, ad relevance, landing page, you need to A/B test all of them at least once every month, right? That's the thing, right? Now, going even more into ad relevance, right? We need to have what we call ad groups, right? So if somebody's typing in, back pain near me, you do not want to show a physio ad, all right? Physio, the best physiotherapist, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to do that. You want to make it, like I said, very specific to that query. And the only way you do that is you break up search queries by theme, all right? So you have a look at, for example, lower back pain is one area that you really want to nail. So you create an ad group for that, all right? An ad group. So you have the 2 ads that are running for lower back pain for that particular query, all right? Then you have a landing page for that as well, all right? And you do this for knee pain, for post-surgical pain, for post-pregnancy physio, Pilates, whatever. You break down everything into themes and different types of services and or body pains. So whatever people type into Google, you'll find if you have a whole bunch of things, they'll belong in buckets, right? You want to create a set of ads, a set of landing pages per bucket, and you want to separate that. The only way you can do that is creating ad groups. If you don't do that, you're just going to waste your money because they lack the 3 components that you really need to have that quality score: the ad relevance, the click-through rate, and landing page experience. The only way you can do that is having ad groups. Okay. Now, how do you find out what these buckets are? And the best way to do that is, using Google's keyword planner tool, right? So if you don't already have one, all right, get a Google Ads account, all right? When you do that, there is a way to do keyword planner research, right? It's a very powerful free tool. Go into that tool and type in, for example, type in each bucket that you think is necessary, right? So type in physio, type in lower back pain, type in knee pain, type in shoulder pain, type in surgery pain, post-pregnancy pain, whatever that is, right? When you type that in, it'll give you some ideas. It'll come up with relevant searches around that search term, right? When you do that, but it's very important when you do that, that you select your area, right? Don't go state, don't go the whole country. Get very specific. Sometimes you can get down to your city or a suburb, all right? Get down to a small group as possible, all right? Because that becomes very specific that way, right? And when you break those buckets up and put it up into Google, it'll give you a whole list that's related to that keyword, right? That is relevant to your area, what your people are exactly looking for, exactly what they're typing, right? Then you use this. Even in that list, you'll have to remove some, right? Get the list, refine the list, then you can see how you can create the ad copy, what to put in the ad copy, what to put on the landing pages, because you can see what they're typing in, right? What they're typing in is a direct indication of what they are looking for. This information is so powerful. It needs to be used every single month, right? And these keyword terms change as well periodically. You need to know what those trends and changes are, all right? So once again, it needs to be done every single month, keyword research, to make sure that you're staying relevant and your ads remain high performing over time. You can't just put an ad out there and hoping it'll work for a year. It won't. Things will change. So you need to be on top of that. Yeah, we talked about then creating a landing page for each of those themes. It's very, very important that you do that. If you don't do that, like I said, you're going to confuse a new patient and the chances are they're not going to come in and be your patient. Okay? Like I mentioned, you need to make sure that there are a home page feel, right? Like I mentioned, just go and listen to some of the other podcasts that we have in creating what we call best-in-class websites. All right? Now, setting up retargeting ads, it's a big, big thing. Now, this is where Google Display Network really comes into play, right? A retargeting ad is anyone who has visited your website, but they haven't taken action that you want them to take, right? That is, either they haven't submitted a contact us form, they haven't booked an appointment, or they haven't called, right? Or web chat. They haven't done a web chat. So anyone who hasn't done that, you want to retarget them. The reason being, anyone who's been to your website, they're no longer what we call a cold audience. They know something about you. If they come into your website, that is a leading indicator that they are at least a little bit interested. Now, these people are the best people to go and retarget again. Them being on the website, they've been interested in you in some way, shape, or form. You just need to help them along. Remember, in the total patient matrix, you need to help them along, go higher and higher in the matrix to the point where they're in the buy now 3%. And this is a very powerful way to do that. All right. I'll cover exactly how to do some retargeting ads a bit later on as well. But creating retargeting ads is a great way to big return on ad spend, big return on ad spend. All right. Now, remember I talked about before, how do we come up with the values? You put in this much money in, you're getting this much money out. How did you come up with that? Well, the most accurate way that we found is this, all right? And that is, every time somebody books an appointment, we assign that the dollar value of an initial physio appointment, right? That's because that's what they'll typically book. If it's a booked appointment, all right, it's an initial physio consult value. If there's a 30-second call that comes out of it, it's 50% of the initial physio consult price. 50% being, if you get a phone call, our expectation is a practice converts 50% of them. Chances are it's much higher than that. You're probably around the 75, 80% mark, really. Somebody's actually calling you about something. Calling is a big indication of they want to take that next step. But to make our numbers fairly conservative, 50% of initial physio consult, that's a conversion. So let's just say your physio initial consult is $100 and 2 people called, right? So the value you created is 2 times 50%, which is 1 times $100. So $100 is the value for the 2 phone calls you got. Similarly, so contact us form, whenever they submit a contact us form, is 25% of an initial physio, right? Now, once again, that should be fairly conservative. It should have a higher rate than that. Generally, there might be spam and that kind of thing, but generally speaking, 25% of any contact us form should result in an initial appointment. That's why 25%. A chat widget interaction, same thing, 25% of initial physio appointment, right? So this is the exact way how you come up with the value of what's coming into your practice compared to what you're spending on it. All right, keep this in mind. So some critical money saving hacks, right? Remember, we talked about ad groups. Create an ad group for each theme. Sit down and really figure out, even if you've done Google Ads, if they're been running for a while, they're doing really well, sit down again and rethink this, retheme this. Very important, right? Having a landing page per ad group, A/B testing them, all right? Removing the lower performing ad or the landing page or whatever component you're measuring, all right? And then replacing them with something else with one change and creating retargeting banner ads. I'll give you an example, okay? One of my clients, it's personalized physiotherapy, pain relief, or it's free. So these are the kind of ads that you need to put up. Once again, remember the biggest thing when it comes to ads is curiosity based. You need to raise their curiosity. And having retargeting ads, remember they've already been to your website. So they're no longer cold. They know something about you. You know they are somewhat interested in what you have to offer. You just have to essentially keep chasing them up, keep following them up. Around the internet, you can do this. All right, this is a great way to get people go, oh yeah, I remember I need to book an appointment. Let's click back on it, go there, book an appointment. It's remarkable how often that happens because people forget, right? People get busy, people forget. But when these ads come up, it goes, oh yeah, I remember going to the practice. I forgot to book an appointment because my son was screaming or something. And they go back in there They might not take the action because of something else, but you show the ad to them over and over again up until the point where they will, eventually go up through the total patient matrix. All right. That's the whole point for them to become a patient of yours. Now remember, I've created another whole series of podcasts about creating irresistible offers, right? But if you haven't got one, you need to have one. Simple as that. If you want to be the number one practice in your area, you need to have one. And have a look at the podcast around this as well to create that. Obviously, we help the practice that we work with create offers. We do that very regularly, right? But it's very possible for you to do that as well. Have a look at the webinars, but it's absolutely essential part of moving the needle, moving the new patient needle for your practice, okay? And having this single message, having a great offer, you can really make that the center point, the front and center of all your marketing. If you have a great offer, you're going to pull in lots of patients, right? You need to create this to make sure that it is the center point of all your marketing. Very important. All right. So I hope that was useful. That's quite a lot to digest, right? Go back to the webinar, have a look at each of those components and see where you might need a bit of work to try and tweak things up a little to get your practice to the next level, where you're bringing in, every dollar that you're spending is creating $2.84, $4.59, even more than that. All right. So it's very important that I have a look at that and tweak what you need and what you can to get those results, because Google Ads really does work, right? But if you want some extra help with somebody who's actually specialized in physio practice and who only works with them and who can help you grow as well, go to our website, physiomarketing.co.co, right? There should be a book a call button up there. Book a call with us. We're more than happy to see where you're at, where you're looking to get and what's missing to get there and put all the things in place for you. Other than that, thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.